I'm so grateful for another day to help stimulate the mental. Time to strategize, huddle up, where's your circle? I can feel the moment radiate through the convo. Talk is cheap, turn your faith into work. I drink my second cup and put my hands in the dirt. 2 cups, drinking straight drip from the earth. Caffeinated conversations, you heard them here first. One for the wake up. One for the wake up. 2 for the work. Caffeinated conversations, you heard them here first. Welcome back to 2 Cups Cafe, where I'm your host, Alan C. Jackson, and who I have coming through for a high-quality caffeinated conversation today is none other than Vanice Williams. How you doing, Vanice?
I'm good. You said, what was it? Did you call it highly caffeinated?
High-quality caffeinated conversations.
High-quality caffeinated conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
So funny. Okay.
So yeah, I'm just so glad you came by, hang out with me for a little bit.
For
We've been
sure.
knowing each other professionally probably almost 15 years.
That is way longer than that.
Professionally, when I started bringing the group homeboys to the school that you was principal at.
Yeah, but y'all had, somebody did my flyers before.
Oh,
Long
yeah,
time ago.
Yep,
I
yep,
guess
we should
professionally, with my profession.
Right,
yes,
right, yeah.
Okay.
So you're an educator, an entrepreneur, business owner, and recently president of city council. So you know, you're a young lady still. You know what I'm saying? So just
Very
tell us
young.
about, just tell us a little bit about, you know, growing up, and I want to get to how you got to business, how you got to be an educator, not necessarily in that order, and then finally, like, we can probably touch on like city politics and stuff.
Okay. Well, definitely, I'm a community kid.
Yeah.
Grew up Smith Park, Junction neighborhood,
Okay.
Inglewood neighborhood. Dorr Street blocks it off, but my grandmother lived in Junction. My mom lived in Inglewood,
Okay.
so definitely grew up in Smith Park.
Yeah.
It was rough, but went to King, Robinson, and Scott.
Okay.
And
You went to the Old King or the New King?
the old
King, the New
King
King's
on
boys'
Lawrence.
school. So
We went to the old King
Yeah.
on Lawrence and the old Robinson
Yeah.
on Wade.
That's where I grew up, right behind. My grandmother's house was on the alley with the old Robinson.
Yeah. The old Robinson was, it was far from home, but we
Yeah.
went there. It was fun walking to school. And then it was Scott. It wasn't fun walking to school to Scott. And we had to walk a few times because we got kicked off the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Not my fault.
Not
but,
your
you
fault.
know. But yeah, we had real humble beginnings.
Okay.
My mother lived on Section 8 majority of my life and growing up. And then, we had to go. Once you
Yeah.
kicked out of mama house, you had to learn how to live.
No,
And
for sure.
Definitely got kicked out of mama house. 17, I was kicked out at 17.
Okay.
My senior year of high school with my siblings, we all got kicked out at the same time.
Mm.
It was an experience, but I just had to learn how to survive.
Yeah. So tell me about. So obviously you went to college. Like, how did that transition come? Like from, like you said, just being kind of on your own at 17, you and your siblings trying to figure it out, and then the transition to school.
Well, we've been on our own way longer before 17,
Okay.
but I didn't go to college.
Okay.
So I'll tell you, I didn't go to college right away.
Okay.
Now, I did really good in school.
Okay.
Always a good student, always tried to get A's and B's.
Yeah.
Got a C, I was crushed. But I was one of those kids, I could stay home and just go. But all my life, I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
Because I had really good teachers,
Yeah.
from Miss Page at King, Miss Johnson at Robinson, and then at Scott, I had some amazing teachers, and I
Yeah.
wanted to be a teacher, but I didn't have that push from anybody in the community to be like, you can do it.
Right.
No, the streets was taking over. I saw that. That
for
was
sure.
prevalent. But I knew I wanted to do that.
Okay.
I strayed away. So I got a scholarship to UT when I was my senior year in
Okay.
high school. I found out I got a scholarship from UT, and I'm like, I didn't even fill out for it. And I found out one of my teachers filled out for it. So got a scholarship and said, okay, well, I'll try to go. But I didn't go for teaching. I went for pre-nursing.
Okay.
I didn't want to take care of nobody in that way. That's not what I want to do, but I knew that was
That's where the money was
that's
at.
where the money was at. So I went, and my first semester was hard because being on your own
Right.
is hard to figure out financial aid, how to eat,
Right.
like how I'm gonna eat and go to work and all that and go to school. So it was hard. So I dropped out after second semester.
Okay.
And then fast forward, I started to work at Head Start, and I was like, okay, this is where I
know
want
you
to
worked
be.
at Head Start.
Oh yeah, I was 19 at Head Start. And I said, no, that ain't what I want to do. Because the parents of 3 to 5 year olds wasn't where I wanted to be.
Okay.
And I wasn't a parent at the time. And, you know, I was jumping off the bus about to fight parents because when you don't take care of the little ones, I'm like, man, what?
Where's the socks at?
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah.
And then I just remember it was like yesterday. I had the lady, I had said, hey, ask your mom, told the baby, said, ask your mom, can you send a sweater because it's kind of cold in the building.
Okay.
Man, that lady told me, don't tell me how to raise my kid. I said, who did that?
Right, right. By bringing a sweater.
She was flipping out, and I was like, you can't whoop me. First of all, I'm still in survival mode. And so, you know, I flipped out on her, so I said, no, I ain't doing that. That ain't what I wanted to do.
Right.
So, you know, I said, well, let me go get more educated. Let me figure it out.
Yeah.
So I started at Owens, and that didn't work out because, you know, I had messed up my financial aid, and I had to start paying out of pocket and working dead end jobs, wasn't getting it. So dropped out of Owens, and then I said, you know what, let me do this the right way. I enlisted in the Army. And went to Cleveland, took my test, picked my job, picked where I wanted to be stationed at. They shipped me off to the reception center in South Carolina. I went down there. 12 days in, they said, you gotta go back home, you pregnant.
Oh, man.
So 12 days later, I was pregnant.
12 days later.
12 days later, I'm 12 days pregnant.
Oh, man.
Yes, it was a rough night before I left. And so I called dude and was like, the dad, and I said, hey, how you doing? He was a good dude. He had a job, and he was cool. He was cool, but he wasn't my cup of tea.
Okay.
So I really didn't know a whole lot about him. I just know he was a cool dude, but wasn't my cup of tea. So I asked them in the Army, like, you can't take it out?
Right.
And they was like, no, you got to go home. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
So I had to come back home, and I was homeless. I had given up my apartment.
Yeah.
I had sold my clothes, my car,
Yeah.
furniture, everything. So I had to live in my sister's basement. And I'm pregnant, and I don't know what to do. And I decided to keep my baby. When I called dude down back home, while I was down south, I said, hey, I'm pregnant, I gotta come back home. He was like, let me call you back, I'm playing this video game. I was like, okay, that's not gonna work. Just go home, Vanice, have your baby, do whatever.
Oh, man.
So he really had no choice in it. I just didn't even.
You said you just disconnected from it.
I was like, whatever. So I came back home pregnant, and like I was still really hungered to go to school.
Yeah.
I had started having dreams even when I was pregnant of taking care of a whole bunch of kids. I always had kids around me in my dreams, and I'm like, man, I'm not having a whole bunch of kids.
Right.
Like this is my baby, I'm gonna rock with this baby. Started working at Chrysler.
Okay.
This back in 2001 when they did this mass hiring.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because they were shifting. And I started working there. And
Which plant you work at?
I worked at the old plant.
Okay.
I mean, I came home with black boogers in my nose and worked 5 to 3, and I was tired every day, and I was pregnant. And it was serious for me because I was serious now that God had allowed me to bring forth life. I'm like, I got to get myself together, and I wanted to go to school, but I said, I can't right now because I got this baby. I'm going to work my butt off and take care of her. Yeah. So they did the layoff for a little bit. I went and started working at St. V's and Mercy, and, you know, I said, I got to go back to school. Yeah. Because I was making $10.40. I was living in the Moody Manor. Okay. I wanted more for my child. Right. I had a little girl, and she is absolutely the best thing that ever happened to me. So I knew I had to make her life better than mine was.
No, for sure.
And so while I was at Mercy, I decided to go to school. Okay. I said, Vanice, it's time to go. but I didn't go for education. I went for marketing.
For marketing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Because I was in the business department at Mercy.
Okay.
And working at St. V's part-time and working at a bar on the weekends.
Okay.
So I went to Lourdes and then, just went through and did that. And I said, my baby life gonna be grand.
How's your experience at Lourdes?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah.
The best thing about Lourdes to me, it was Lourdes College back then. It wasn't a university.
Okay.
The campus was beautiful. My teachers were amazing. My instructors amazing because they knew life was happening for me.
Right.
I had 3 jobs I was working plus going to school. And so, I had shift careers even at that time while I was in school. Halfway through, I started working back at Chrysler because my financial aid had tapped out.
Okay.
I started having to pay out of pocket and Mercy and St. V's wasn't cutting it.
Yeah.
So I started working at Chrysler. Then I started working at TPS as well. And while I was working at TPS, I'm like, I need to go ahead and do this because I love being at the school I was at.
Okay.
And so worked 3rd shift at Chrysler, 1st shift TPS, went to school after I left TPS and started all back over and worked at the bar on the weekends. Yeah, it was crazy, but I knew my daughter's life was gonna be better.
Right.
I was very active in her life, whatever function she said. I don't care how tired I was there.
No, for sure.
And it was crazy to me that I went for marketing and I was there for marketing, business administration and marketing. And I had got my degrees and was like, I want to be a teacher. After I graduated, I graduated from Lourdes. I said, I just want to be a teacher. So I left Chrysler. It was during the time they were doing the buyouts and I didn't take
like 08 somewhere.
It was 08, 09. I left in 08,
09.
09. And I left TPS and I started to work at this dropout recovery school.
Okay.
I started entry level. I mean, I had made $80,000 at Jeep that year, and I stopped and made $24,000. Yeah, it was rough. I started working at the high school and it was $24,000, but the joy that I had from being at that school was unmatched. Unmatched. And I felt fulfilled.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. One thing about me is money ain't a driver.
Okay.
Money ain't a driver for me and whatever moves that I make.
Yeah.
It has never been a driver for me. Like I could have went back to Chrysler because I didn't take the buyout, which is what I wanted to say. I didn't take the buyout, just took the layoff.
Okay.
And I said, call me when y'all ready to call back.
Right.
Because I had seniority from 01. So I was good.
Right.
And so when they did call me back, I ain't go back. I stayed at the school.
Yeah.
Yep, and I stayed and I did entry level, the marketing for the school. Then I moved up and did the student data. Then I moved and during that time I was doing the student data, I moved and started doing most of the business stuff for the school.
Then you became like the full administrator, right?
Well, that ain't how it happened.
Okay.
Well, what happened was I started to have an urge to go back to school to do more because I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And when I started to research, I found out I had to go have certain classes to be a teacher and take the state test.
Okay.
Well, after I was the business manager for the school and doing the student data and bringing the money in, I said, I want to be in the classroom. Well, I got my master's degree in education.
Okay.
I did my education degree online. I did the online programs, which was harder than going to class. I don't know how.
You was on your own.
I don't know how people be doing that online school because I did it. It took me 2.5 years because I had some health issues.
Okay.
But once I got my degree, I went and I got my teaching license.
Okay.
And I was like, this was everything for me. That was where I was supposed to be, and I was happy. And a little controversy came while I was there being a teacher. The administrator got fired.
Okay.
And then I had applied to be the administrator, but they didn't pick me. They picked a white man.
Okay.
To replace this white man.
Yeah.
And so they didn't pick me. And ultimately, I'm like, I did everything for the school because I had started entry level, so I did every position the school had.
So you knew everything.
Yep, I knew everything. I know where the bones was buried. I knew how to bring the money in. But there was a situation where there was some fraudulent things going on. And I don't want to say fraudulent, there was some deceptive reporting that was going on that wasn't on my watch because I was a teacher.
Right.
And we were 300,000 in the hole. 300,000 in the hole. And they actually put me in place as an administrator because the white man that they chose ended up leaving. It was too much.
You just jetted.
He said, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And so they put me in place anticipating the school closing.
Right.
School didn't close.
Yeah.
School soared in every aspect. And so being an administrator was a simple transition for me because I knew how to do the stuff.
Okay.
The hardest part was how to recreate the school because we were in such a deficit.
Yeah. I kind of came along around in with some of the boys that, had living with me when you was at the administrator, and then Mr. Travis also was working there.
Yeah, we was the dream team.
Yeah, I remember I just remember the level of just hands-on that, as an administrator, you still kind of was like really hands-on with the kids, knew all the kids, talked to them. And,
knew all their business.
Yep.
Well, that was one thing that I really liked about the school is because most of the kids that were at the school, it was a dropout recovery school, which is basically 16 to 23-year-olds. I had some 23-year-olds, depending on where they were academically and, social, emotional.
Right.
They grew up like I did. They had struggles like I did. No matter what color, creed, or who they were struggling like I struggled, and I could see it in them. And it was just an amazing thing for me because the successes that we had were amazing.
Right.
Now we had some situations, we had kids get murdered, we had kids get shot, we had kids in jail, we had kids get pregnant, we had kids transitioning genders, we had a whole gambit of things going on, and to tackle those, I had to be hands-on because I never wanted the kids to feel like they didn't have anybody, because a lot of times they didn't.
Yeah, because it's definitely, when you're working with kids or adults that have multiple situations going on, it's way more than just the information you're trying to give them.
Yeah. You
education is like small part of
Right.
the process when it comes to that.
And I always tell somebody, like, my degrees get me through the door, but my street sustained me.
Yeah, for sure.
My survival mode sustained me. I'm not in survival mode anymore.
Yeah.
I wasn't at the time, but it sustains me when I get into these rooms and I hear people talk, or I hear people try to jive me out of stuff or try to change my mind. I'm sitting here like, I heard this before, but from a different source.
Right.
You're not running game on me that ain't somebody tried to do before.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when I worked with the young people that I did, it was amazing to see the successes, the small successes. And I'll tell you this, the last year I was there, I blew up what the kids, the numbers, the attendance, I had been there 10 years and I had ran it for 5.
Okay.
Out of those 10 years, the best year that I was there, the best years I was there was when I was an administrator.
Okay.
And my staff was amazing.
Yeah.
And they all left when I left. All my staff left when I left. And they're doing well. We still keep in contact. I'm actually going to visit one of my special ed teachers in a few weeks. Me and Trav, my Shack.
For sure.
He was very integral in how we dealt with the kids. He came from the Bureau of Prisons.
Okay.
Another thing that was so crazy was I would go to court with my kids.
Right.
I would be in the courtroom down at juvenile court with my kids, or common pleas, or Toledo municipal, because some of them were over 18. I would be in court.
Advocate for them.
Oh yeah, and Judge Cubbin at the time, she seen me in court one time and said, "What you doing here?" I said, I'm the principal at his school, and I want to make sure he cool, because he really is a good kid.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, okay." And so we built a relationship at the court.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yep. Travis and I worked closely with YTC, with JDC, We worked close with the municipal and common pleas court because you have to.
Exactly.
You have to. And she was like, it was the trial lasted, it was a trial, and the trial lasted for this kid. He was accused of a shooting.
Okay.
And the trial lasted for a few days. And she said, you've been here every day.
Every day, huh?
I would be no other place.
Yeah.
My school could run itself. If they need me, they know how to get in contact with me. But I needed to be there for this young man because he didn't have his mother and his father, and he was in foster care. And he was in a situation where he was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
But he was a straight A kid.
See.
And when I saw him, I thought of me.
Right.
Not that I'm out here shooting and gang banging and shoot 'em up, bang bang, but
Put in
I
the situation.
struggled with the street life and the hood life where I grew up in,
Right.
and I didn't know a way out. And so I wanted to make sure that these kids knew
So
that somebody cared.
So how you, like, one of the things when I first started working with, like, teenage boys, you know, like you said, I had a lot of similar upbringing and a lot of them had, but so my work ethic, like I had my first job at 11, right? And I bust tables and then I wind up working my way up to dishwasher, you know, all of that. You know, I was working for $3.33 hour, you know, under the table, Charlie's Waffle House, right? So,
Charlie?
Yeah, so, but one of my struggles was, like, how do you, like, tell your story and then don't get frustrated because you're like, I know what I had to do and you could do it too, but a lot of the teens we work with, sometimes they don't have that, I don't want to say that get up and go, but that self-efficacy to kind of like, I'm going to succeed. Like, how do you, like, not get overwhelmed, like, with them, like just try, I want to shake you, you know what I mean?
It was no point I was not frustrated.
Okay.
It was no point where I was not frustrated when they did not listen.
Yeah.
But I had to reconcile with myself that I've poured everything in that I am supposed to pour in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I poured in so much of myself that I relived my trauma every day while talking to them, and I needed help with that.
Right.
And so it was not a point where I did not get frustrated, but all I could do was get on my knees, Alan. Alan, like, my prayer life had to be so strong, and I had to be so focused on what purpose I was put in there to keep going. I had a young man that he got busted with a kilo of heroin. Kilo of heroin. 17.
Okay.
17 a kilo of heroin. Now this is where the street come in. You know how much money that is.
Yeah.
And you're 17
Right.
and somebody trusts you enough with a kilo of heroin to sell?
Right.
Oh no, he bought that kilo himself. He went out and bought it himself. That told me several different things. He was a mathematician.
Yeah.
He was financially he understood finances. He understood saving. He understood chemistry. He understood marketing. He understood so many different things in the math part and entrepreneur part of life. Nobody else would have saw that in him. So when I was called to take this young man into my school, I said, baby, I'm gonna take you in, but ain't nothing I could give you is but a high school diploma.
Right.
And you have to be happy with that. This young man was fighting for survival because his mother was schizophrenic. His mother was schizophrenic. And she had several kids under him.
Okay.
And he felt like he had to take care of them.
Yeah.
So he had responsibility that most people don't understand. So when I got him, I'm like, Lord have mercy, how am I deal with this young man? How am I help him? Like, I know.
Because he got, like, grown man, like, issues.
This man older than me.
Yeah.
This young man is older than me. He done had more money than me. He done had more money passed through his hands. He wasn't boastful. He wasn't loud. He came to school every day for the whole month he was there. And Alan, when I tell you he tested out of all his math classes, he tested out of all his math classes because we had a credit recovery program. And he tested out of all his math classes. This young man had the opportunity to be successful on the good side of life,
Right.
and not experience the dark. But the dark pulled him so much so, because how do you tell somebody don't take care of your mama?
Right.
At 17, most kids, I don't care how bad their mama is, I don't care what your mama do to you, you know that better than I.
Definitely.
They always gonna want their mama, and they always gonna want to take care of their mama.
Yeah.
Because that's the first love that they ever experience. Whatever type of love that is,
Right.
bad or good love, that's
It's
the
still
love that they
yeah,
understand.
for sure.
And so this young man was there for a whole month, tested out all his math classes, was working on his science classes, was working on his social studies and English classes, and he ended up getting busted. And he had turned 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
That baby is in feds right now. He's in the feds right now, and he didn't call me. He wrote me a letter.
Okay.
Sent it to my office down at OneGov and said, "Thank you for trying to teach me the lessons.
Yeah.
Thank you for trying to help me.
Yeah.
I appreciate you." Now I was only with this baby for a month.
Right.
1 month, 30 days. He said those 30 days was the most impactful days of his life. Because it showed him that somebody cared.
Somebody cared. You try to give them what you could. Because like you said, there's certain things we can't get at kids depending on where they at in life, but you try to show them that direction. And I know it's like, I got a young man contacted me the other day. He's got 3 children now, but he wanted to contact me and tell me that he wanted to get married. So he wanted me to talk to him about it, and he told me that I was kind of like the main family man that he knew. So he stayed with me for like maybe a year and a half. So
yeah, you are a good family man. You got all them girls. All them girls.
Yeah, all girls. So people be like, "How you so patient?" I'm like, "You got 4 daughters. You gotta."
Yeah, I'll tell you something about that though. My granddaddy, he had a lot of girls.
Okay.
And my grandmother said, God know who to get them girls to.
Yeah,
because
sure.
it take a real man to raise girls. Not saying that men that raise boys are not real men, but it takes a real solid man to raise a young woman to be a woman. Because I tell you what, I ain't had that. I had that. I mean, my father's still alive, but I had a man that took care of me since I was 5.
Okay.
And I just had to reconcile after he passed away that I did know that fatherly love.
Yeah.
That was unmatched by any other love.
Yeah. It's
It just wasn't. And don't get me wrong, my biological father, he definitely loves me.
Right.
But he gave me what he could, and what he could wasn't what I needed.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to sit with.
Yeah. That was a lesson I learned too from young. Like, I was separated from my mom for some years. I didn't know my biological dad. And then the person I thought my biological dad, that wind up not being true. So, but I was staying with his people, and his people was telling me, another story. But once me and my mom had a conversation one time, and she was like, "Son, I did my best." And it just like, it hit me in a place where it was like, what are you going to do when somebody tell you they gave you everything they had?
You can't do nothing with
And I was like, in my heart, I was like, I believe.
You got to sit and reconcile that, because when somebody say that conversation, have that conversation to you, with you, like, you got to tell them, like, my daughter, like, her father, he's been in her life, but, I know I've had struggles throughout being a single mother.
Yeah, for sure.
And I had to tell her, I did my best. I gave you the best of me. And I apologize if the best of me wasn't good enough for what you needed. Because, we don't get no book at this.
No, for sure.
We don't get no book at this. I just know I wanted to provide a better life to her. So I pretty much stayed away from drugs the majority of my life. Drink a little alcohol every now and again, but that was something that I really focused on. Like, I didn't even take any medicine when I gave birth to her, because
that's why my wife was.
I ain't want to be high. Like, I want to know all of this. I want to see all of this. And I don't want it to pass to her. Because we have that, once that's in your family, it's in your family, it's hereditary. So I didn't want to pass it on to her. But You know, my kids at the school, and I was honest and authentic. Everywhere I go, I try to be honest and authentic with who I am and what I'm about. People won't get everything of me, but what you do get of me is it's authentic. Like, I ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing. That's what I did with my kids.
Yeah. So how'd you go from working with teens and young adults to working with babies?
I'm gonna tell you, it's always about God with me. So I had a young lady. She was 20 years old, Alan. She had a first grade reading level.
Okay.
First grade reading level at 20 means that something happened at 5 years old, or 3, or 2, or at birth, to keep her at 20 years old at a first grade reading level. And she wasn't unique. She wasn't the only one.
Nah,
I had a lot of kids that had so many learning deficits that I struggled to understand why.
Okay.
And I said, I know what it is. Something happened.
When they're little.
Regardless of what it is, something happened. And I wanted, whether it was parents lacking the advocacy to advocate for their kids, because sometimes schools, not all, sometimes schools and educators talk above a parent. Or they don't include a parent.
Right.
Sometimes things happen where they may have had lead poisoning, because this young lady actually was from somewhere that was heavily inflicted with lead.
Okay.
Sometimes you have situations where things just happen at a young age. So in 2019, I said, yeah, it's time for me to start over. It was a couple different things that had happened that year. The school had been bought by a new management company, and they was doing some shady stuff. And I had a teaching license, principal's license, and a real estate license, and I wasn't losing none of them because y'all doing some scrubby scrub, attendance scrub. When you lose one license, you lose them all in the state of Ohio. They suspend them all, and you're not messing with my livelihood.
That's right.
So that was one thing, and then I had one particular student that I was advocating for, and it was just a bunch of things that started happening that last year. I was there and then in February I said, you know what, I gotta peace out. February of 2019, I said, I gotta go. This is my last graduation. And I didn't leave on a low where the school was struggling. I left with the highest attendance out of all the schools they had, with the highest test scores out of all the schools that they had, because they have several schools through Ohio. I left with test scores soaring. I left with just great enrollment. I left, it was 1.5 in the bank. Mind you, I told you 300 was in the hole.
Was in a deficit. That was before they moved? Or?
No, this was way before they moved. Yep. I had actually named the school that it is now. But it was just a bunch of stuff happening, and I had to sit down and pray. I was in thick prayer during this year because I made good money there.
Right.
And that was the highest salary I ever made. And I was like, ooh, well, I kept saying no, but then my two sisters called me and said, you're going to die if you stay there. And they ministers and ordained ministers and prophetic people. And I said, let me get out of here.
He said, I got to go.
They told me. So that year, I just said, I got to go. And then I started to try to figure out what I wanted to do. And then December of 2019, found the building that we're in now. And because I was going to start doing it out of my house. But the guy I was dating at the time was like, nah, don't do it out your house. And this man took a loan against his house and purchased me a building to put my daycare in. He invested in my dream. I always had that dream of being around a bunch of children. Not young adults, it was children for me. And I had misinterpreted that dream for several years, and the dream actually was I was supposed to start at the beginning. And so that's why I left the school, to start at the beginning. Not because it was stuff going on there. It was because I was supposed to.
It's
my
time
steps
for you
was
to
being
go.
ordered. So
no, I mean, understanding seasons in life, I think just coming from like, you know, how we grew up, or just, you know, we grew up in the Midwest. So you go work at a factory, 30 years, you got to give it a career, you got to get a retirement. But understanding seasons, that's like way more complicated, you know.
It is. And I'll tell you this, when I left the school, I was like, wait, what? And I went to making nothing. I didn't make nothing. I worked at a nonprofit for a little bit. but that was half of what I was
Yeah.
making at the school. And, you know, but once I opened that child care center,
Yeah.
I didn't make no money. I didn't start paying myself to 21. It
Okay.
opened July of 22.
Okay.
I didn't start paying myself to July of 21. And I still wasn't paying myself a whole bunch. I think I maybe got $900 every 2 weeks.
Okay.
But everything I got, I put back into the center.
Right,
Like
yeah.
I was always updating it, always finding new academic tools to help the kids and finding resources. So I was always doing something.
Yeah, I don't live too far from there, so I've seen the building transformation over the years. Like you said, you're always doing something new, and
Trying.
brightening it up and everything. Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, my little apples in my eye, my grandkids
Them
spend
my
some time
babies.
over there. So
Yeah.
they
yeah.
definitely sharp. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, they
yeah.
getting
'Cause
that foundation.
We had Liam, both of them from the beginning. Boy, he's something else, but he loved him some dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah, for
So we
sure.
definitely always try to encourage what the kids like. We try to encourage that, and also the advocacy of the parents, teaching the parents. Because I still go sit down at schools when it's time to go to kindergarten. I go
Right.
sit down at schools and I argue a kindergarten teacher down, like no, and also identifying those learning deficits at the beginning. Like we've had over 10 kids diagnosed with autism before they go to kindergarten.
Because it's
so that
something,
they
just paying attention
Right,
to them, seeing
right,
what they're
right,
working
right.
with. Yeah.
Because one thing that I did when I got my master's in education was I focused on that special ed piece of it.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, us as black folks, we always say ain't nothing wrong with our kids.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong
That's
with your
because
kids.
as a parent, you feel like if something wrong, if my child is different, then that's like, must be a reflection, like something I did to,
Right,
you know, kind
right.
of create this situation.
Right, and that's not the case. Sometimes that piece of it happens in utero. It happens. It's the makeup of our bodies. It's something that just is the brain structure. It has nothing. Maternal health is very important for sure, but sometimes it's nothing that you could have done. It's something that we just have in front of us now. Let's
Right,
work on it.
right.
And so when we talk about those learning deficits, you need or those learning disabilities, you have to find them early on so that your child can be successful. My goal in life is to there have to be no dropout recovery schools. That's a goal. Now, am I gonna reach it? Is it really something a goal? Yes. I don't want any of the kids that I've touched early
Right.
on to have to go to a dropout recovery school.
I got you.
None of the kids whose lives that I touched. Now, some of them, I've had to put them out, but it's not because of the kids.
Right.
It's because one thing I will tell you, child care centers will not put a kid out because of the kid. They put them out because of the parent.
Because of the parent.
I had some parents that just did not hear me. I had a meeting with a parent with 2 behavioral specialists saying, hey, he has something going on
Yeah.
or she has something going on. We want to help them this way.
Right.
And you tell them no. Okay, I'm not going to let him
Right,
keep
nah,
coming
well,
to my
yeah,
center, biting my
disrupting,
teachers, and
yeah.
you don't want to give them that extra attention.
Right.
So that is it. If you don't take the advocacy, at that point it's not on me. But I had to reconcile with that because for the longest I would not put a child out. I don't care
Right.
what they did because it starts a trend. But now I've realized that I have poured that's the frustration that come back. It comes back full circle.
Yeah.
I've realized I poured as much as I can. My teachers has poured as much as they can. And after much prayer and really self-reflection, okay, man.
Gotta be at peace with it. Gotta go. This might not be the place for you.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly,
for sure.
exactly.
So, man, so it's a whirlwind. Like all this is happening over a long period of time, but it just seemed like you just be walking right into it.
That's what people think.
Yeah.
I will tell you, people think I popped up like a dandelion.
Yeah. So
No.
So let's talk about city politics. Like, so when I came up, like politics in general was, you know, I didn't care about it, right?
Of course not.
And then like I think the only thing we did in high school one time, we skipped school because Reverend Rose was marching on City Hall. So we just skipped school and marched down there with Reverend Rose, right?
Yeah, Reverend
Somehow,
Rose
I don't even know why we was doing it, but
I don't either.
I just know we was Man, we had about a couple hundred of us. We just marching on City Hall. We
Right.
skipped school, marched on City Hall, and after that, we got something to eat or something. But like for you, like, okay, you had advocacy for the teens. You know, you started working with the babies, and like now you're working with everybody in the
Everybody.
city. So
Yep,
how
yep,
did that come about? Like somebody approached, like, Vanice, I need you to do this. Or, okay.
Nope, nobody approached me to do nothing. My experience with politics was when I was in 4th grade with Mr. Farian, and we had to do a conversation about the elephant and the donkey.
Okay.
The Republicans and the Democrats.
Okay.
That was it. I ain't do nothing else. You know, your partner knows Mr. Farian. I know he remember Mr. Farian. So anyway, that was my only thing with politics. I
Okay.
never was into politics at all.
Okay.
The time was 2020, and I think George Floyd had.
Yeah, because that all happened around
Yep.
COVID, and
Yep.
George Floyd was like.
And that's I opened July of 2020 my child care center.
Okay.
And in July of 20, before I opened, George Floyd had passed, and so then you know, prior to that, I started getting into it when Elizabeth Warren was running for president, and then after that, I had got into it with my guy Tyrone Riley. I kind of jumped on. He's a friend of the family.
Okay.
I had jumped on, you know, supporting his campaign and
Okay.
everything, helping him with his social media platform, and then. You know, I was like, well, maybe I'll go for school board because, you know,
Because you got that advocacy piece
right.
and
For the
education.
kids, I said maybe I'll do that. I was looking into it and I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. So then 2020 came and, you know, Tyrone had got his election and started his stuff. And then in July, that's when the 4 had got, you know, suspended from council. And I said, well, this might be it.
Yeah.
And I was like, why, Vanice? I had to go on my knees. I don't do nothing without praying about it.
Yeah.
So I prayed about it, and I was like, just submit your resume. But before I submitted my resume, I had to talk to my mother, my brother,
Okay.
and my sister, because their business is my business.
Okay.
And before I did that, I wanted to make sure they were cool with it.
Yeah.
And so I put my resume in. 132 people put resumes.
Yeah, I remember when they was asking for the,
None of them people know me.
Yeah.
Nobody knew me at the time. Like Tyrone knew me because my daddy
Right.
and my mama, he went to school with them, but nobody knew me. A few people knew I was a principal at Life Skills, but nobody knew me. So when the judge called me in September and was like, Judge Jack Puffenberger, he said, hey, I wanted to call and schedule a Zoom meeting with you. And I was like, okay, cool.
He's like, what's going on?
Yeah. And I knew my cover letter was good, but I didn't know it was like amazing or whatever. And he said he looked at my cover letter, my resume on the Zoom meeting the next day. It was a Wednesday. And he said, well, if I pick you, you're not going to embarrass me? I said, none of my actions today will, but I can't tell you about then. And he told me, like, teachers are the best people in the world. His wife was a teacher.
Okay.
And so he was like, it looks like you looking to do District 4. I said, yeah. He was like, are you interested in at large? I was like, absolutely not. And so the next day I got a call from Matt Cherry, the president at the time.
Okay.
It was a Thursday. He said, you got District 4. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. And he said, just don't do a press conference without telling me. And I said, okay, if that's all I got to do.
Right.
And then after that, Friday hit, September 18, 2020, I was like sworn in. I had the blade, I had this, I had that. My hair wasn't cut right. And they put me all everywhere. And it was just like crazy because I never expected this to go that I got picked.
Right.
But then I also remember God said that you are my anointed one and I got you.
Yeah.
He said that a long time ago for me, and he had brought me through so much so far. I'm like, okay, he gonna carry me through this, and I'm gonna take him with me.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, and I was like, whoa. So then instantly I started advocating on a bigger level for the hood and District 4, and and helping out wherever I can in any other district as well, and working with a group of people that I did not know, but we became sort of a dysfunctional family.
So full circle though, your district is like where you grew up at, right?
All of where I grew up
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
All of where I grew up at. Both my grandmother's houses are in those districts. They both have passed, but everything
Right.
is where I grew up at. The whole district.
So, let me put this. So all the responsibilities and stuff that you have like now, like how do you find time to make sure you refresh and replenish yourself?
Every morning I wake up and I do my prayers, I do my Bible, I do everything. I'm refreshed every day. I'm allowed to get breath. Every day I'm allowed to wake up and say, God, thank you for waking me up. That's how I function. Because I have responsibilities, family. I have responsibilities at the child care center. I have responsibilities down at the city.
Right.
But the biggest responsibility is to me and my God.
Yeah.
And so the only way that I can truly focus on the other responsibilities is if I take care of me.
Yeah, for sure.
And that came full circle when I had a heart attack in February. I had a heart attack February 15th.
I had heard about that like after the fact. I know I had seen you for a while. You was moving kind of slow, but I was like, man, she got so much going on. She probably tired.
Nope.
Yeah.
I was, but I didn't know why. And then when I had the heart attack, it was like my whole perspective and reflection on life came in that hospital bed. Before I had the stent put in, I reflected on life and like, God, you done brought me so far.
Yeah.
Where do you want me to go from here? Should I stop everything? Am I supposed to not do anything else? What do I do from here? And he told me after I came out, I prayed because I was in so much pain. I had to get it up off me. I prayed and I said, God, where do I go from here? He said, you unclogged now, go. You unclogged now.
Yeah.
It was 99% clogged. One of my Widowmaker was 99% clogged. You unclogged now, go.
Man.
And I was like, it didn't come from my lifestyle.
Right.
This came from, for real, from a medicine I had been taking years ago out of vanity. And I was like, oh. And so now that I'm here now, and I had came and felt better, I work out, I do all my cardio I was supposed to do. I make no excuses about doing it. I eat better.
Yeah.
I take life a little better, and I'm at such a level. I have such a level of peace right now. It's so crazy how peaceful people don't think my life is. I have peace in my life.
Yeah, because it was from the outside looking in, like your life must be crazy. You got the babies, you got the city, you got,
And I got a 3-year-old at home I take care of. So it's definitely, I definitely need my tribe behind me, and that's my girlfriends. They all over the country. I got 2 of my best friends here, one in Texas, one in Atlanta. If I got to go see one of them, I'm going.
Yeah.
But I got so much peace right now in my life and joy that the only way that I could get knocked off is if I knock me off.
Like that.
No matter what happens, the only thing that would knock me off is me knock me off because I'm at peace.
Yeah.
You know, now when you have peace, that don't mean turbulence doesn't come.
Right, no, for sure.
When you have peace, is how you get through the turbulence, how you walk through it, how you know you're gonna get to the other side. And so when I got elected as president of the city council, it was turbulent.
See, I didn't know that.
It was turbulent.
Because I know somebody stepped down and then...
It was turbulent. Carrie Hartman, she stepped down to take another position. And she took that position and they rescinded it.
Right.
But that didn't have, people made that
a big deal.
Yeah, big deal. But the turbulence for me was, how do I get all my colleagues to believe that I can bring us to a sense of consistency in this turbulent time of the media and everything that was going on there. How do we keep it consistent? How do we keep our staff flowing? How do we get the uncertainty out for everybody else around me? But, you know, it was turbulent. It was turbulent. But here we are today. I was unanimously elected by my colleagues because city council has to appoint the president. And, you know, you had a whole bunch of people doubting, you know, you had people like, who is she? What can she bring to the table? Wait, she had a heart attack. Wait, she got a 3-year-old. Wait, she got the daycare. Wait, she got this going on. She got that going on. How's she gonna do this? But we already talked about my journey.
Yeah, you already had 3 jobs, going to school, had a baby, so it's like...
You know, and I'm not saying that this is going to be easy because, you know, council president has to support all of the council members and his staff and understand the things that we have to vote on for the whole city. So it's not just consistent. And don't get me wrong, this was not the journey that I wanted for myself. The journey for myself was represent District 4.
That was your people's.
Represent District 4, represent District 4. But after this heart attack, that ain't what God had for me. I need you to make sure you represent everybody. And you represent me to everybody. So let my light shine through you. So it was turbulent, but we make it look good. My life has been turbulent, but I make it look good.
That's powerful. See, that's why I like, you know, call this 2 cups, like one for the wake, one for the work. And like I had said earlier, high quality caffeinated conversations.
High quality caffeinated conversations.
So, like, you know, the space I work with, a lot of teenage boys, and you know, the conversation's not really high quality all the time. It's kind of like, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. And then you listen to their conversations and, you know, you can, like, I tell people all the time, I go home and talk to my wife sometimes, she be like, who you talking to? You talking to me like one of them boys. Like, you know, it's
like, calm down.
Like, I'm just like all over the place. But understanding like people's stories and like where you come from and what you've been through and then what you would inspire to do. Because that's the other thing, like I said, it's one for the wake, one for the work. So it's like my metaphor for life. Like that first cup, like when I get up, it's like, what am I grateful for? What am I meditating on? What am I looking forward to? Like I tell my young men all the time, just don't wake up. Just don't jump out the bed and just go into life. Like give yourself a chance to like be aware, you know, be grateful, be reflective. Like now what are, that second cup is like, now it's one for the work. Like now what am I working on? Like what steps am I taking to make those, you know, dreams a reality? So with all the stuff you got going on, like what is your wake? Like what is your, like, do you have like a further dream beyond like what you're doing? Like what has God showed you that like the next steps?
So he ain't showed me yet.
Okay.
He be showing me. He ain't showed me yet. He showed me stay on this path.
Yeah.
Stay on this path and I got you.
No,
and that's all I'm gonna do is stay on the path that he put me on. So when I pray right now, where I'm supposed to be is here, and making sure that our staff are like, we're working on the budget right now. Everybody like, the budget, whoa, damn the hell. The budget season always be so like, you be like,
tense,
come on, man, it ain't that serious. Like, we gonna be cool. Everybody worried about the federal government and what's going on there. But my job is to make sure that we're making conscious decisions and working for the greater good of all of the city of Toledo and not just one individual entity or one individual. So the path that I'm on and the journey I'm on is God ordering my steps as I go. I can't say, and people always say, you're gonna be married, you're gonna be, that's not in the plan for me. But I don't know what God got.
You're not ruling it out, but it's like
I can't rule nothing out no more because I did not see myself as council president until I was council president. I know how to do the work. I know how to lead. I know how to follow. And the best leader is a follower. And I follow God, and wherever he takes me, that's where I'm gonna go. And I pray that this journey has as less turbulence as it can.
Yeah, for sure.
But when the turbulence come, I pray that I stand firm on who I am,
Yeah.
where I come from, how I got here, and never forget. I was just thinking, like, I was reading an old article from 2021. It popped up in my Blade, and it talked about the little heads over at Smith Park.
Oh, yeah.
And talked about how poverty created that dynamic. And my goal is to try to mitigate as much of poverty-stricken symptoms
Right.
as possible. Like, I'm not sitting here saying, I'm gonna wipe out poverty. But poverty has symptoms of it.
Right.
Just because you live in poverty don't mean you have to
You have
be
to have
dusted
that,
and
yeah.
disgusted and have that mentality. So that's why I go hard for the affordable housing projects in the city. I go hard for homeless people, regardless of what people say,
Right.
or people that are struggling with addiction, or
Yeah.
people with mental health. I go hard for those issues, no matter how much it's on social media, where
Right.
it's at. But when we in these
It's
rooms,
in front of you. You know what you're doing. Yeah.
I'm gonna fight for it.
Yeah, for
I'm gonna
sure.
fight for people that's like me.
For
And that
sure.
don't mean black like me. That means whoever is struggling mentally to get out of that poverty mind frame because I had to.
Yeah, for sure.
To be in survival mode is the hardest thing to get out of.
No, definitely.
And so that's where I'm at with the walk that I'm on.
Okay.
I have plans, but my plans are never what his plans
Right, right.
are. So
For sure. People say we make plans. You ever want to make God laugh? Like make some plans.
make some plans,
Yeah,
because
for
he
sure.
showed chop him up.
Oh man, but this has been a rich conversation. I'm just so glad we got a chance to one day, like, just having people's legacy and their stories on file, just so
On
we
the
can
wax?
just Put it
Put it on the wax.
be able to just revisit them, and one day, somebody you touched could see it and be like, yeah, I know Miss Williams, Miss Vanice. So
My kids reach out to me all the time. I know they do that
Yeah,
to you. They
yeah,
come, like
for
you
sure.
said, they come back. I got a bunch of young ladies that be sharing my posts like,
Mm-hmm.
this was my principal. And I'm like, yeah, I sure was, girl.
for sure. And my platform, it's growing. So anytime, we get a chance to sit down again,
Yeah.
you have these initiatives you're working on, just feel free. Anything, I can help with.
For sure.
Just let me know. And I
All
just
right.
appreciate you coming down.
Thanks,
and, but all my viewers and listeners, like, subscribe. Miss Vanice Williams is representing the city in a great way. Until next time, it's been your friend, 2 Cups.